what can I say about this book that hasn't already been said? I mean, this is probably the most talked about book, more than any other book right now. Well, okay, maybe the Quran and the Bible, but of fiction and fantasy books. I even think it's talked more about than Lord of the Rings by now, just because of, its reputation, let's be honest here. So, how am I gonna make this review stand out? And to be honest, I really only read this book because my girlfriend thought it would be funny to have me do it. I mean, I always talked about how I want to, but it's just, I mean, it's Twilight. So what I'm gonna try and do is go into this review with an open mind. I'm gonna try and forget its reputation. I watched the movie twice. At least one of those times were not my decision. And I'm gonna try and forget everything as much as possible. I mean, it's gonna be impossible. It is. But I'm gonna do my best to pretend like I don't know anything about this movie. So, I'll be splitting this review up into 3 different parts. Depending on how you count with your fingers, you can do it like this. This? Do people count like this? Whatever. Part 1. Number 1. I don't know. Will be up to the vampire reveal. So entire introduction until they agree that they both know Edward is a vampire or whatever. Part 2 will be up until the action scene. So how I define the action scene, I define that as happening as the non-Collins vampires ever. Oh yeah, spoilers, but I mean it's Twilight. So really, is there any spoilers going on here? So action will be up until the new vampires that are not the Collins, and then the third part will be the rest of the book. Alright, let's get right into it and see what Twilight has to offer. This part isn't really that bad. I mean, it's not good, but with the reputation Twilight has, I expected it to be way worse. I don't get how people hate the first part. I get why people dislike it or find it boring, but hate it? There are pieces I like there, and there's also pieces I absolutely detest. But the main thing I want to take from this is just it's clumsily written and the pacing is weird and wrong. And it just feels like a draft more than anything. An example of this problem is the way Bella goes to Forks. She keeps saying how she must go and got no other choice, but no one's forcing her. It's only much later. It's probably like chapter 2, but the chapters are slow and quite long feeling. So it's already too late. It should probably been in the same chapter, if not nearly at the same time. Maybe we're told once or twice. Maybe Charlie doesn't quite understand why she thinks so, and then she explains it to us, because I think it's like chapter 1 or something like that. She actually goes to Forks. So, anyways. So some other things I find weird is just how every guy falls in love with her. Oh, I can believe, let's just take that people will find her interesting. I can absolutely buy that from a small high school in rural America. I was an exchange student in America one year, and I was in a small rural town, rural, but less than 10,000 people, so small town in America apparently. We were 600 students, so it wasn't that many. And yeah, everybody, I talked to were curious who I was, where I was from and all that. But that's where it stopped. And it's like a power fantasy. Because yeah, 16-year-old men are like, oh yeah, all the girls are gonna love me, because it's not how it works. And I think I can believe maybe one guy falls in love with her other than Edward. I can believe that. But like both Mike, Edward, the dude who almost killed her, Jacob, I don't remember, there's probably one more or something like that, I don't know. There's still a lot of guys, and we're told she goes from no one loving her. I don't know. It's just weird. Alright, let's talk about some things I liked about this section here, because it's a good thing is they positive, I think. And the first thing is, well, I lost my I lost myself in the script. Here you go. The Edward hating Bella is actually a great idea, and I think it would have worked if everyone on the planet didn't know why he hates her. In case you don't know, congratulations, you're gonna enjoy this, probably, at least more than the rest of the book. In regards to that, I do like how Bella did get self-conscious about why Edward hates her when they haven't even talked. She just cares a bit too much. Let me get my hands down. A bit too much. Most people would stop caring pretty fast. Like 1-2 days where you're like, what's going on? Why does he hate me? Then you're just like, whatever. If he doesn't like me, I'm not going to spend time talking with him. And I think Maya should have done that. She should have put this hatred on the back burner. Maybe from time to time just bring it up after my small moments, but put it on the back burner. Make some of the tertiary characters like stand out. You know, give them some time, give them some development, expand the world, expand Forks as a town, all that stuff. The other thing that I did think Maya did kinda well in theory is the car crash scene. And hear me out, I've seen the movie, I've seen it twice as I said earlier. And the scene was terrible in the movie, absolutely trash. I can understand why everybody hates that one. But it's not the same. Here, there's an idea behind it. And I think that's a big thing of the first part here. There's an idea, there's thought put into it. The idea was that Bella should get a concussion to hide what actually happened. And I think it's pretty smart. Of course it failed, but the idea was there. Now, I think a way to improve this would have it, I guess we can call it fail less, because I still want this to fail. I think that's very important, but I want it to fail less. So instead of her being sure of what she saw happen, because in the entire book there's never really any doubt, like maybe there's like the teeniest, tiniest amount of doubt, but really there's no doubt. Make it so that she isn't quite sure he was right, that he wasn't right next to her. The same can also be done for the car that gets deformed, because that's a big argument behind why she gets the idea. Maybe, again, have her imagining it. Maybe Edward, and hear me out, maybe have Edward explain to Carlisle the situation, like what happened, all that, and then the two of them make sure Edward can pretend to gotten bruised or something, you know, so he also gets out of it. Again, to make Bella doubt what actually happened, because she remembers seeing he didn't get injured, but clearly he's laying in the bed, or he has maybe his arm, you know, tied up or whatever, but he did get injured. So maybe she remembers wrong. So, finally, the vampire reveal itself. I mean, okay, I've seen the book, and I've seen the movie, I've seen the book. The book is right here. I didn't even talk about the cover. It's bad. It's really, really bad. Guess the apple is a reference to Snow White and Poisonous Apple, and how you should, like, that's the idea. Or maybe the apple symbolizes Adam and Eve, or and sin. But it doesn't tell me anything about the book. What tells me about the book is the name, because of its reputation. But the cover, trash. Absolute trash. But yeah, I've also seen the movie. And the vampire reveal in the movie is worse than here. Here is like they're having a talk at a cafe or something, and then they discuss it in the car too. And it's fine. It's a bit emotionless, as many things are in this book. She does have way more emotion here than in the movie, so thumbs up. But it's still bad. But so far, I can't really say I'm enjoying the book, but my girlfriend can like agree, and yeah, because I lost my thought. Basically what I want to say is the book is bad. I'm positively surprised compared to the reputation it has, so yeah, Good for you, Maya. Onward. Your first draft book is not as bad as people say. I think I've gone through the good part of the book, because now it's taking a turn for the worse. This is the straight up downhill plummet. It's just a plummet in both quality of writing and of entertainment, really. Let's start like before with what I disliked. The goddamn interrogation of Bella. Oh my god. First and foremost, it's really, really boring to read about what types of questions he asks her, instead of showing us. Maya really dropped the ball here. I know what she's going for. She's going for Edward is so curious that he can't stop himself from asking all those questions. And so that called bullshit. He can easily stop himself. He does that a lot. Every time they have to go class or Peyton sets Bella off or whatever, it works out. Right. But if I were to change this then, because that's apparently what this review has also turned into, is how do I improve my most hated parts? I would start by saying, oh, he has a bunch of questions, but remove the comparing it to a psychoanalysis interrogation thingy. Remove that, that sucks. Have him ask generic questions, but then have the conversation like spur into something. And I think an interesting conversation could be to have them talk about Phoenix. But hear me out here. I want them to talk about it in a different way, so I'm going to move things around. As they talk about Phoenix, then she does not know that he's a vampire. And here I'm going to do this to build chemistry. I'm going to have created some scenes, some small cute scenes here and there, where they maybe bump into each other, go, oh, get a little flustered, blah, whatever. But the idea behind this is just have them become friends first, because this book has really slow pacing but also really fast pacing, and I think this book needs a slower pacing. So let's have some small moments where they bump into each other, maybe they talk it out, and he goes, oh, it wasn't actually you, it was just you. I don't know, maybe he goes, I'm allergic to strawberries, and then she realized, oh yeah, I use strawberry shampoo, and then she changed her shampoo because she's not a dick. Stuff like that, and then they make up and all that stuff, and she thanks him for saving him, and then they start talking, and he asks where she's from, the most common question to ask a new student, or anybody, where you from? And she goes, Phoenix, and they talk about it, and she explains how it's wonderful, but Edward doesn't get it. He doesn't understand how much she loves Phoenix. So they spend all day, all the breaks, he asked to drive her home, even though her truck is in the school, just so they can keep talking about why she loves Phoenix, because he doesn't get it. And so he keeps asking clarifying questions, using similes to his world, let's call it his world, while still trying to hide that he's a vampire. And this of course raises, because some of his questions will be oddly phrased. So she starts to realize he's hiding something, but she doesn't ask because she can feel it doesn't work. Maybe she throws in some hints that he's hiding something, but he brushes her off. And this way we create some mystique, we create some chemistry, create some cute moments, we learn about, we create some character for both of them. Maybe have Mike or I don't remember the girls' names. They don't matter at all the side characters. Maybe have some of them sit with them, bump in, or because they're also curious. Make the world living. Alright. Yeah, so let's move on. It's a big change in the book, what I just described, but I think it would help a lot. Yeah, right, because then it works like she has to get Edward's trust, but she doesn't know she has to get it, and she doesn't know she's working towards his trust, but she is, Now, something I don't like is the constant, his jaw clenched, smile turning to a thin line. It's repetitive and annoying, and it removes any depth from Edward. like we talked about, we want to create character. It's a romance. I don't read a lot of romance, but I think my ideas would just improve the book. I'm not saying I could write it better, because I probably can't, but I would do those small things just to elevate what she got, because I think what Maya got going here is pretty good. Alright, so stop with the constant he stalk Clint and smile to a thin line. You know, give him some more depth. Stop having him be binary in either he's really happy or really angry / sad. Why is he binary? Is that a vampire thing? I don't think so, because none of the vampires binary in their characters. So give him some jealousy, but doesn't make him angry. Maybe make him worry a bit, but not sad. Like, have different scenes where we tone down the emotions. Yeah, so I guess I can't beat around it anymore. The sparkling. I thought it was only a movie thing, to be honest. I detest it. No. Before you go, oh, and it's her book. Yeah, I agree, it's her book. She can do whatever she wants. I don't care about that. I just think it's a horrible idea. It removes any of the, every time you go, but aren't you afraid of me? It just removes any of that, because no, you fucking sparkle. It's not scary. And she wants Edward to be scary. Also, sparkling is lame and boring, so get rid of that shit. So let's talk about some good parts, like good things in this part here. And sadly, this is also the shortest part of this. I actually like the attempt from Edward in explaining the way people smell and the effect they have. That's kind of the conversation types I want in this book, because it builds the world. Like, oh yeah, it's kind of, we're smell based, but we can find out quote unquote soulmates or really dedicated, because it's not the only one. Since Jasper had like 2 different ones that he killed because of it. But add those small details. It's not a lot, but it's a little. I like the visits to the Collins. I think it's fun, it's cute, but the problem is now I just want a book dedicated to their background. Not written by Stephanie Meyer, but I want a book on their background. And that's kind of sad to me, because it shouldn't be a background that should make me want an entire book. The background, this book should make me want a sequel, because there was like 4 books, and then it should be, oh, it would be nice with some expanded book stories. But I should want more of Bella and Edward, but I don't. Now, okay, last thing I like, I had to find myself in the script. I unironically really like Alice and Jasper, and I actually like all the other vampires too, except for Edward. So yeah, best part of the book is some secondary, tertiary characters, except for Rosalie, but she's not really in this one. We just learned she hates Bella for, well, reasonable reasons. She's afraid they're gonna be found out. Yeah, anyways, let's move on to the last part of the book. That last section kinda drained me a little, but oh well, let's get to it. Again, let's start with what I disliked. I didn't like how Bella cared more about Edward than Charlie when she left them. I mean, she did seem to care, but every time Charlie was mentioned, which felt like it was mainly from everyone else, Edward had to be mentioned by Bella, either verbally or mentally. Also, why, and it's a weird thing to say I dislike, but why are all the vampires better written than Edward? I know I said that earlier, but it still bugs me. Alice's background, though, shouldn't have been revealed, although I think it's kinda lame. These vampires should have nothing to do with the Collins. It would have been a better side story in the sequels instead, or in a novella, or whatever. But it shouldn't happen during the first book's climax, because it just removes any impact it has. We're told offhanded how Alice cares about it, but that's not how it should be. She doesn't know who she is. It should be a huge reveal for everybody. It's not. The final thing is when Bella has to have the vampire poison. I guess poison. sucked out of her by Edward. It was too easy for him. Why was it so easy? Then why was he afraid? Have him struggle. Maybe he loses control and Carlisle starts to panic. And the other vampire, I think it was Alice who held her too, starts to panic because they can't stop Edward. But then, because it's a romance story and love have to beat everything, maybe Bella then murmurs Edward's name. Literally right as it's about too late. And this snaps him out and he just pulls, moves his head back with so much force he might even break her arm. But he manages to stop in time. Then Carlisle tells us, how it happened and how it was literally last second, and if he just half a second more had spent sucking her blood, she would have been a goner or a vampire for sure, whatever. And then not have her want to be a vampire yet. Have her be intrigued by the world, but have her be a little scared. Because how is she gonna tell Charlie and her mom and her friends? But have her be intrigued by it. So, this is a case of sow the seed of interest. She already in this book wants to be a vampire. Don't. Sow the seed. Have her be interested, intrigued by this world. But have her be worried too. Alright. Some things I like. It's the hotel scene. There we go. I had to find myself. Oh god, I can't find myself in the script today. That's insane. Hotel scene. I liked it. I think it was really fun. It was entertaining. It was cute how Alice and Jasper were, and how they tried their best to not worry. How Alice kept ordering food because they had to consciously remind themselves to order food. I like that. Even though nothing happened, I think it was really good. Also, the scene with Carlisle and the new vampires talking were fun, and I want more of that. But, and here comes the best part of the book, and I think it's unironically really, really well done. The Bella yelling at Charlie. It was great. The feelings were there. You can feel the amount of hurt both of them felt from it. It was raw emotions. I liked that. But, and this is a problem with Stephanie Meyer, and this is her first book, so you could skip through it, but this is something our editor should pick up for her. She could have gotten it better. As she's yelling at Charlie, we're learning what some of the things mean. This is when we get exposition of her mom leaving Charlie. Don't. Have her tell us about that early in the book. And then here have this be a callback to, oh right, she's currently doing what her mom did. But let the emotions play the scene out. I think that would have helped a lot. And this then gets me to the epilogue. Because the epilogue's weird. I would make the epilogue 2 sections. And the first section would be as Bella's getting back to Forks after being to the hospital in Phoenix. Because I want to learn how she made up with her dad. I want to read that. I want to see more of those raw emotions. I want to see her dad be mad. Well, not even mad, hurt. I want to see them cry, basically. And I don't need more. I need 3, 4, 5 pages top. Maybe even 1 page can do it, but give it 2 or 3 pages at a bare minimum. Then time skip it to prom and give us the epilogue we have here, because then we have a cute ending. So the entire epilogue is maybe 10 pages long and it's 2-part, and that would be fine. Alright. So before we get to the conclusion and time to answer the question this review is about, why haven't I talked about Jacob? Well, actually, I forgot about him. The only time I remembered him was when I had to list up the side characters. And you know what? That's good. It's what we want. We don't want the love triangle in this book. We want to establish that there's chemistry. Sadly, there's not that much chemistry between Bella and Edward, because they're both really weird and Edward's very controlling and all that game was there. but we want those to be established. And we want Jacob to be introduced, if we want him to be a main character, but nothing more than that. And that's pretty good. I like that. It should be in the sequels, because he's sequel bait. You know, sow the seed, intrigue us, make us interested, but at least make him 16. 15 is just a tad too young, in my opinion. Because I don't think many 17-year-olds are that interested in 15-year-olds. Of course you can use that as an argument. The problem is you can already feel some chemistry and some emotion. I don't know. I just think it's weird thinking of him as that, because next time Bella's going to be 18 and then he's just going to be 16, and it's a little weird, but I don't know. Yeah. But that's my opinion on this section. Let's get to the conclusion. Let's get this over. I was positively surprised when I read this book. I've heard so much bad about it. I watched so many bad reviews. I even watched all of Crimson Rogue's huge reviews. Link in the description. He does an amazing job. They're also very long. They're marathon reviews for all his Twilight books reviews, but they're good. I even seen the movie twice, and it was bad both times. So I can't tell you how surprised I was that the book wasn't as bad as people made it seem. Now don't get me wrong, it's bad. It's like a first, second, third draft book, and that's it. But there are some good parts in it. There are really, really good ideas. There are the seeds of like a competent romance novel, and this is probably one of the few romance novels I've ever read, and I can tell. So if Maya just had a competent editor, or if she actually had a really good editor, then Maya should have listened to her, because it's just a draft. At least that's how it feels. It has some good idea. The story isn't... it's not quite there yet. To be honest, I don't think I just think this book got rushed through, and I don't think Maya listened to her editor. Either that or the editor tried to rush it out for some weird reason. So let's get to the question behind this review. Should you read this book? No. Normally, I would have added a hint for what is to come as the next review. But the next one isn't a book, but some comics. So instead, I'm currently showing you the logo of the comics. And then from there you can guess what we're talking about. Anyways, please like, comment and subscribe, more jazz, and I'll see you all when we review those comics.